Hey, this is Bernie here, and I'm with Connections Consulting. You know that business company, do all kinds of entrepreneurship stuff. But I want to talk to you about my life motivations division tonight. And what I'm seeing is we're in a pornography realm nowadays where the internet has access to so much stuff. And one good conference coming up is for anybody that has an addiction to pornography. Now, I haven't talked about that really ever in any of my talks about anything because I've never been addicted to it. I don't apportion myself that way at all in my thinking. Um, I'm in my mid 50s and I've never even really um, explored it or anything in my life because I just always thought, like just go live life, do what you're supposed to be doing, get on with it, go chase a girl, get a girlfriend, make her a wife, live life. Why would I want to be watching some guy having sex with a girl, another with a lady, and watch that? I want to watch me. I don't want to watch some other people. And so I'm hearing so much for 15 years about how bad pornography is, how it's wrecking people's minds, how people are becoming addicted and useless on it in society. Can't think right, the capacity and is not there, and even young kids as young as 8 are getting into exploring it, watching it. So I decided this year, in this past year, I was going to explore it a bit just to find out what all the big hubbub is about. And, because I care about people's souls too, right? How people are doing. But apparently, understandably, not like when you have a hangover, if you went on a drinking binge and you're kind of useless the next day. And I understand from my early 20s, I was walking the wayward path a bit. You're kind of docile the next day. Well, pornography is the opposite. And from what I learned, and I'm a while back, a few months ago, looking at these different chat rooms and things, and there's everything under the sun you can imagine, and I'm not even talking about child pornography or anything. I just open up my internet, and I'm sure there's men with men and men with women, and when I happened to open up in my adventure, there was these two ladies. Well, so I'm looking around all this, and you can talk to them if you want. I didn't. I'm just kind of viewing it and observing to figure out what this is all about. So after about an hour and a half of this, well, the next day, I couldn't believe. It took me a day and a half to get my head snapped back into gear again where it should be. And, apparently what happens is because of the endorphins in your brain and the sexual relationship, the way it was designed by God to be in us as a normal man and woman, for that affirmation of one another in a sexual relationship, this explosion goes on in your mind, but you're witnessing to other people, so it's not even you in a realm you can trust or believe in according to the faith you were given by God to have a sexual relationship, the way it was designed to be. And so now all of a sudden, so you're not, because you're not with a woman, you're a man, and you're sitting there and you got all this activity going on in your mind, you got nothing to do with it that's proper. And so some people don't get docile. Have you ever seen anybody around in your life, in your neighborhood, at work or whatever? It's like they're going out of their mind. They're stir crazy. So you're pacing around your apartment. You got all this. It's like, what do you do now? So if you're addicted, and it's like this for some people, like there's a conference coming up for men in March because it's very high and predominant in the male species in men, where they run into the problem of addiction. And the conference is called the It's Pure Desire, March 21st of this coming year. It's a one-day conference. I believe it's $60. It's at Center Street Church. And you gotta, like, if you have an addiction, this is where I want you to go because you'll get it solved. You got the healing scriptures. And I'm kind of asking you this on behalf of God, obviously, because He's speaking it into me, into my soul, that people got some problems here. And so I want to do something with that to help people in my CCI life motivations. It's not something I would rather talk about, but I am, according to this. And it's about a $60 conference, roughly, I believe. So you go in there and it's like a big fire hose. You got this weird fire burning inside of you that you can't put out. You're going to get a big fire hose on you that day and put it out. And you'll solve some of the addiction habits and problems. There'll be a design there for you for accountability with other people. Get some good friends, banding or bonding together that can, according to their faith and belief, if they want to get out of this addiction to pornography, they can do that. There'll be systems. And, parents who know they want to keep their kids out of it can do things like put porn blockers and all this on their phone and the internet system around the house, a computer, and smart parents parenting according to their belief that they want their kids on a tight leash would have a faith or belief in that. The phone is only accustomed to their little neighborhood, who's in it, like them, mom, the kid, dad, the kid, and it's when they're young, eh? Maybe when you're 12 you got responsibility, but when you've got a phone when you're 8, and there might be reasons you need it. Nobody can call that kid except you. Like, there's ways to, all this design. But why is there a pornography problem? I think that's things you'll find out at the conference probably. If you're dealing with your own internal anger or or what kind of situations do you run into when you go to it? Like, are there certain situations where all of a sudden you are potentially risking getting into your addiction? Or what time of day, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's all stuff. I might just go out of interest as a guest and a participant, but maybe you'll see me there as a friend, right? But don't mistake my kindness here today as weakness, because it isn't. I'm not being weak to you. I'm being very kind, and appropriate that properly, please, because us strong men who are boxers and take physical fitness serious, strengthen our mind and our own will in our body and how we choose things, good choices in life. It's a big deal, right? And you're not falling subject or prone to some of these things. And it's not that you couldn't, because anybody has weak potential. But if you don't, so I'm saying this. If you're in a mode where you're kind of a victim to it, you want to get out of it. Here's help, because sometimes people don't know what to trust and what to do. How can you trust psychology anymore? How can you trust whatever? Tools fixes things, and appropriately the scripture will help and heal, and it's according to that. And you'll get out of it, and that's really what you want, is to get out of your trap. And women, there's a problem sometimes. It's not as predominant, I understand. If you accidentally flipped on your computer and you saw pornography, it's not the end of the world. Don't judge yourself harsh and accordingly here. This is for people who are victims of addiction in this, and it's blowing their minds. They can't function at work. They can't function at home. They're not taking care of their families properly. Risk at losing their job, maybe. This is where I'm pointing this problem, because if you've got that scenario, you want to get help, and here's somewhere you can go. It's useful, and if you're in over your head and it's caused other problems, we're victims of child pornography got so addicted, they went out and people became pedophiles and that kind of stuff. You really needed your own soul to be restored and realigned, and you should go talk to a pastor. And they have confidence. They can't release your information to anybody. They have what's called absolution. I've talked to this before about this. But if you feel you're not safe to be in society, and maybe you're better off to be turned in to the police, and they'll help you appropriately do that if you're that bad off and got over the deep end in this. But you can go in confidence and release the information and get a clear heart again and get a start if you have been addicted to pornography, and start there. But this conference is a good place to go, and if you need immediate help, definitely call a pastor at Center Street Church. And ladies, because this is more historically a problem that men have fallen victim to, this addiction. I'd say just start by talking to a pastor if you got a problem, and they'll figure out a way to afford you some help, because there's sometimes it's a lady problem too, right? And if you're working in this industry, my prayers go out for you, because I want people to do well and heal in life, and I don't judge anybody, because maybe you're doing this because nobody's giving you a chance. This is where you ended up, and you're just trying to pay the bills, and I don't begrudge anybody for what they've had to do in order to do that and take care of their kids and stuff. And I hope that you're not there against your own will, and I would pray that you'd be out of it in safety, and that God has His eye on you and is protecting you, because you don't want to see anybody in harm's way. So that's my CCI life motivation message for you today, and you may never hear this coming out of me again. It's not something I talk about, but the help is there, and it's afforded to whoever needs it in an addiction scenario. And I just hope you're like Jesus and the lepers. There's stories in the Bible and history where He healed the lepers. They had so much harm, and 10 of them went away healed that had all this physical harm, but one came back thankful. And I hope you're that one, that if this message got to somebody that needed it, and you can restore your family, and it's social justice here, right? That your family can go on and function and do well, and not have to fall apart because of an addiction like this. And that's all I can lend myself to on this. I don't really know any more than that, but I hope it was useful. And I hope nobody else falls into this trap that shouldn't be, and just even 8-year-old boys flipping on the computer, and their parents should be monitoring them, right? And hopefully that isn't happening. So go with that, but get out of it, and if you can, make the choice if you have the addiction. And I would say this to anybody about any addiction, but this is this one topic for tonight. So, in Jesus' name, bless you on that, and go forth in accommodation and to get your own soul restored. Thanks for that. Have a good night. Bernie May, Connections Consulting in the business world, with this moment of talk for computer land and all the error we have in it, the good, bad, and the ugly. And there's lots of good on there. And hopefully you don't fumble and stumble into too much bad. And get your soul right with God again, as I equate to you in the body, mind, spirit, soul accommodation that I have for the social justice evening here on October 20th, 2019, and the conference is March 21st, the first day of spring 2020. So hopefully your eyesight will be good for that if you need it, and go from there. CCI Life Motivations, 1-403-519-3495, Bernie Bay. Take care now and have a good evening. And like I always say, live better and live well. That's what this is all about, because when you do, you're have your authority strong in who you are as a person, and you can just do well in life and live life with love and with power, and that's what you want, right? Kindness to other individuals and people and all that around you, and you just live better and live well, and you dwell and better and accommodate others and who you are and yourself as well. So take care and have a good night now. CCI Life Motivation signing off. wconnectionscon.ca